Okay, so here we are at Ulley Country Park. Ulley Country Park is a reservoir that was originally created in 1871 to supply drinking water for Botherham, which is about 4 miles away. Okay, so here we are at the spillway. I'll say this was put in 2007 after there was some pretty substantial flooding in the Rotherham area, and that caused some real problems for the dam wall here at Ulley. Very good friend of mine for many years, John, is one of the park rangers here at Ulley Country Park, and he was very kind enough to allow my son Sam to interview him a few months back for a school project that he was doing about the floods of 2007. So instead of me blathering on about what happened, I'll put that video in just about here and I'll let them tell you all about it.
John, I'm under the understanding you were the first person on the scene. Can you give us some details as to what happened and what you saw when you got there?
Yes, I can. I turned up, it was my day off at the time, believe it or not, and I got the phone call just to nip up to Ulley Country Park and check whether things were alright, because the rest of my colleagues were in the middle of town, which was also being badly flooded. So I came up here, and I came down the main road and I saw the water bouncing down one of the channels, so I knew something wasn't right, and I pulled into the car park, went down sort of towards the dam wall, down the footpath, and I was met by over waist high water. There was a lot of water as well in the reservoir because it had been raining for 4 days and 4 nights continuously. So I managed to find some waders, I put them on. So I waded through there, and all I could hear then was the noise of the water bouncing down the channel. I went up onto the top of the dam wall, and that's when I saw what was actually happening. The water was bouncing down the channel, and it had got halfway down the channel, and so the side walls of the channel had fallen in. So what was basically happening was the dam wall was being slowly eaten away back towards the reservoir. So not only did you have all this water in the reservoir putting pressure on the dam wall, you also had it getting thinner and thinner from the other side, from the dry side of the dam wall. And that's where the problem occurred. Once I got my head around what was actually happening, I made a phone call to my line manager, my boss, and he came and he saw for himself what I was describing, and the council has what they call an emergency plan, which he put into action. So he made a phone call to the office that was in town, that was being manned at the time due to the floods, and we managed to get police up to close the road, obviously, because if the dam wall goes, then it's going to flood the main road, which is going to cause a lot of accidents. So we closed the main road, and then, as much as I can remember, we got a lot of fire engines coming up then. Basically they set up a load of big industrial sized pumps, if you like, to pump the water out of the reservoir, because the idea of it is to try and relieve the pressure on the dam wall so there's not as much pressure. So what they did, they set up all their pumps, and fire engines came from all over them. It's all a bit of a blur, it's been 10 years ago, but local fire engines turned up first, and then we had fire engines coming from further afield, so we had them from Shropshire, we had them from London, we had them from the north east, all over the country. And basically we had a load of fire engines, the road was short, and all it was just a line of fire engines all up and down the main road, and just trying to basically get that water level down.
What was done to repair the dam and make it safe for the future?
Okay, there was a lot of work done sort of in the months after the disaster on the 25th of June. A lot of work, a lot of very skilled engineers, flood engineers from sort of separate to the council. They came in and did a lot of homework on their side. various options to solve the problems that had happened. So what basically they've done is we've got now a great big spillway that can get rid of a lot of water in quite a short space of time, and it's a lot more efficient at getting rid of water from the reservoir than the old system was. Basically the old system, the water leaving the reservoir had to turn a corner, which isn't classed as being very efficient. So if it has to go around a 90-degree corner, it slows the flow of the water down. So the level that the spillway, if you like, that we've got now, the water in the reservoir reaches a certain point and it just runs off. So it's self-managing. The level of the water manages itself. We don't have to do anything.
Okay, so we're at the road bridge now, and we're going to head over down the Ulley Arm into the nature reserve, and then we're going to walk up the lane up into Ulley village itself, and then drop back down again right over at the far end there, which is the end of the northern arm, and then we're going to work our way back all the way back to the park. Okay, so as usual I got that completely the wrong way around. This nature reserve area is the northern arm and the other area is the Ulley arm. So sorry about that, John, I'll try to remember for next time. So we're just walking round the northern arm, going right this time now, and as I was saying earlier, this is designed to be a real wildlife haven and nature reserve, so there's no angling allowed in this part of the reservoir, like there is in the other half. So we're at a little bird watching station and bird hide now, and you can see where the rangers have put some feeding stations and things. Unfortunately today doesn't seem to be much activity. I'm guessing it's because of the really strong wind that we've got around and about today. It's keeping all the birds roosting in the nest, but all nice and cosy. So we're on the far side of the northern arm now and just working our way back down the path towards the road bridge. And then when we get there we'll turn up onto the road for a little bit and climb up the hill into Ulley village itself. So, as you can probably hear from the wind noise, we're right up on top of the hill now, just on the outskirts of Ulley village. And we just need to follow this line of trees here, just on the other side. Drop back down to the bottom, back down to the reservoir, and I'll probably pick you up back down there where it's a little more sheltered. Okay, so we're back down on the reservoir now, and we're down on the Ulley arm. Tends to be the hotspot area for all the fishermen that come to this location. Certainly was when I used to fish back a few years ago. It is quite a challenging venue to fish. quite a big area of water, about 35 acres I believe, and it's also very deep. The average depth runs at about 46 feet, so quite a challenging area to fish, but it can be quite rewarding as well. There's some big shoals of bream, lots of silverfish as well, roach and roach bream hybrids, perch, and there's also some monster pike in here as well. Okay, so I'm stopping 5 minutes on one of the memorial benches that are scattered around the park, and hoping you can hear me alright because the wind's really starting to pick up now. I don't think it'll be long before the rain arrives as well. But just on my way up here this morning driving in, and I was trying to think about sort of things I was going to say and what we were going to film while we were up here, and kind of a memory popped back into my head about something me and my sister and my family used to do quite regularly when we were growing up. Me and my sister were young kids, and it's probably something that a lot of you might be able to relate to, similar sort of stories, particularly if you grew up like we did in the sort of late 70s, early 80s. Grew up in quite a traditional 70s, 80s family. Dad worked as an engineer in the steel industry, and mum was a hairdresser. And on a weekend, me and my sister would wake up usually on a Sunday morning. Dad would be downstairs in the kitchen, put the bacon on, cook breakfast. And while we were all sat around eating breakfast, discussion had come round to what we were planning on doing that day. And fairly regularly it would be, oh, let's go for a run out in the car. Oh, leaf bonked me on the head. Let's go for a run out in the car. Where should we go? Oh, let's nip up to Ulley Reservoir. So we'd all pile in the car and head up here. Me and my sister would be armed with a Fletcher's bread bag full of old bread crust to feed the ducks. We'd have a bit of a walk round, and then after that we'd inevitably end up in Ulley village itself and the local pub, which was called the Royal Oak. I believe it's still there. But this was back in the day, as I say, late 70s, early 80s, where we didn't have all the plethora of gastro pubs, child-friendly gastro pubs that we have these days. And it was the Royal Oak back then was very much a traditional English country pub, all dark oak, brassware and bullseye windows, and strictly no children allowed. So me and my sister would end up with probably half a dozen other kids all perched on the stone wall outside the pub, bottle of pop with a straw in it in one hand, packet of crisps in the other, and sat there waiting for what seemed like hours at the time for while mum and dad were inside having a quick Sunday lunchtime drink. So nearly at the end of the walk now, almost back at the car. Just doing one last little bit of filming. And it looks like right over in the distance there, I don't know whether you can just make it out by the road bridge. So it looks like there's a school group out on the reservoir with Ulley Boating Club. I'll say it's a real prime resource for the schools in the local area. The rangers run sessions with them, pond dipping and wildlife walks, and then the boating club do lots of outdoor activities with them as well. Hope you enjoyed the video, and just wanted to give a bit of a shout out and a thank you to John, Ulley Ranger, for letting my son interview him for his school project and for letting me use the footage in this video. You can follow John on his Twitter page, which is Ulley Ranger. He puts little updates on what he's been up to around the park on there. And there's also a really active friends group for Ulley Country Park. They do lots of fundraising, charity events, and basically looking after the general welfare of the park. They were the ones that donated those fantastic chainsaw carved benches that you saw at the beginning of the video. So thanks again for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.